あのね、普通そういうのは国家機密扱いの情報なのだけど。
あ、確かに調子に乗って喋りすぎたかもしれない。酒のせいかな。
国状態異常無効を再起動します。なおこの体制への再干渉は当分の期間受け付けられません。
ああ、せっかくの酒が。
Episode 11 of Slime Anime. And, you know, first off, this episode was awesome. Everything from seeing Luminous get drunk, everything from seeing Rimuru get drunk, you know, for seeing him kind of like cowtail or whatever to Luminous to teach him how to reduce his pain nullification or his poison nullification, for actually getting drunk and slipping some secrets that maybe he shouldn't have, and Raphael going, no, poison nullification is back until I say so. So he had his one night of being able to drink for a little bit. From Veldora and Luminous's relationship kind of like continued to be strained, but in a fun way, you know, because of what Veldora did in the past, to learning about the angels that basically when a certain society gets too powerful, that they come down and rain hellfire essentially to kind of restore balance to the world, essentially. You know, who are they? Are they the descendants of some god, another demon lord? Like, who are these angels? So much happened this episode, you know, establishing the dwarfs as a human race, and the church establishing relations with them, the church establishing relations with the Forest of Jura, and basically saying, hey, there's a non-aggression pact here, with Rimuru throwing out, okay, we're going to sign a contract as 100 years of friendship, you know, really push himself and push his society he's trying to create and all this stuff. Like, I love all of that, and so much happened this episode. My main issue, or kind of the main, the thing that gnaws at me for this whole plot line, I think, is when it comes to the big bad or the big antagonist, and it being Yuuki. And first off, I don't think he's that menacing, you know, or whatever. But my continual dissatisfaction with Yuuki being the mastermind of everything is, what is he trying to accomplish? And I go back and I think about all the different times I've seen him interact with Laplace and 𝐜𝐴𝐻𝐿 and everything else. And it's like, okay, is he trying to wipe out the demon lords, but you're working with some, you know? Are you trying to destroy the world because you're just a psychopath? Are you trying to destroy the world so that you can create a new one where you're God, essentially, like a psychopath? Do you have some menial goal, like trying to create a Captain Planet, you know, save the world by recycling, like create a better world? And if you're trying to create a quote-unquote better world, what's really wrong with this one? You can basically create a society just like Rimuru has and live a good life with being smart, educated, intentional about the relationships that you create through several different avenues, just like he's already doing. And if it's to create a better world, why not work with Rimuru as opposed to against Rimuru? If it's to destroy the world, okay, then is it just destroy the world and then just you and your little buddies that you like for whatever reason, because you had a drink with 𝐜𝐴𝐻𝐿 at the bar and you're just like, I love him. Is it just for you to create a better world for you and your clown buddies and this random, you know, previous demon lord, you know? I just don't know what his motivations are. And I guess, you know, like a lot of villains, you know, I guess sometimes it's one of those things to where they think they're doing the right thing, but they're doing villainy through it. I just don't understand, you know, because like, okay, you can't say you're going to destroy the demon lord hierarchy of the world, but then work with demon lords and have your buddies be on the cusp of being one. You can't say you're trying to be holier than thou, because then why aren't you working with the church? You know, legitly. You can't say that you're trying to create like a sedentary world where you know, love and justice prevails or something like that. Because then why wouldn't you just work with Rimuru? And you can't say that you wouldn't work with Rimuru because, you know, he's a demon lord now. Well, he wasn't always. And you can't say, well, because he's a monster. It's like, but you know that he's from Japan. So even if he's a quote-unquote monster or quote-unquote demon lord, you know that he's just another Japanese dude just like you are. Just like Hinata is. She's just some, you know, Japanese girl. You know, it's like, so why wouldn't you work wholeheartedly with them? So that's where my big stopgaps are with Yuuki being the big bad. I much rather have like Leon or the top demon lord dude or one of the dragons or these angels or whoever the angel boss is. I much rather have that be the big bad, because it would make sense that the angels boss, right? They established the angels, and they said, hey, when the power balances in the world get out of whack, the angels come and they make things right again. It would make more sense that the mastermind, you know, that's been a thorn in everyone's side, it would make more sense that the mastermind is whoever's above the angels, this god entity or whatever. It would make more sense that that's the final boss to accomplish what Rimuru is, which is basically just living a chill-ass life, but establishing modernism in this world and establishing peace in this world, but through power. It would make more sense that that's the final boss, as opposed to Yuuki, who you don't really know, who, you know, he's Mr. Two-Face. He seems like he has a pretty good life. You know, he teaches kids, he has a lot of money, and he's the head of whatever, and he has some decent diplomatic relationships with people. So he's pretty much chilling, but he obviously wants more. And he's obviously pretty powerful too, but he seems to want more. But the reasons behind it, I just don't know. And again, I guess it could just be the psychopathic part of like, oh, I don't want to be here, so I'll just destroy this world. Or maybe that just hit me. Maybe, no, I guess that wouldn't make sense though. I was gonna say maybe, because I was like, he doesn't want to be here. I was like, well, maybe he wants to go home, like wants to return back to Japan or something. But then he would be really deep diving into like magic, and he wouldn't be worried about this world. He would just be super hyper focused on garnering or getting a lot of intelligent magic related people to figure out how he can transmigrate. If you can go one way, you can probably go back the other way. But that wouldn't make sense based on what he's done so far. So I don't think going back is his goal. And again, if going back was his goal, then you would think he would work with Rimuru again, or other intelligible people, as opposed to trying to create factions and separation and chaos in the world. So I don't think it's that. I think that's probably the furthest thing from it. I guess I just want to know more about like what is he actually trying to accomplish. And I'm thinking through the times that I've seen him interacting with Rimuru and the ones he's, you know, the show has shown us kind of like after Rimuru has left, and as you know, his conversations with Laplace and the clown folks, and his conversations with Clayman, and I just can't quite put it together. So it's definitely I'm on the right track. I just don't know which track it is, and maybe there's like an eighth option that I'm just not quite seeing. Again, if you know for sure, I'm anime only, so if you know for sure, you know, don't spoil. I don't know if the light novel or manga or whatever, I don't know if they've even gotten to that point. But if they have, you know, don't spoil anything. But definitely, if you definitely engage in conversation, I would definitely love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments below. And I know I went on a big tangent, but I think I covered all the stuff that did happen this episode. This episode was a 10 out of 10 for me. I love everything about it. Also, the Sue, you know, him being chased by the church girl. Whew, my boy. So this episode was fantastic, though. I loved everything about it. It just kind of spurred me into another spiral about Yuuki and everything else. But I'm leaving it at that. Episode fantastic. Can't wait to hear you guys' comments in the comments below. And I'll see you next week for episode 12. Peace.